You are watching Issues at Hand on Church of Uganda Family TV. Now, if you're a fan of Issues at Hand, which I know you are, you have been knowing that every Friday we come with a member of the police force, and today we have an Afande who's going to take us through domestic violence and issues when it comes to custody battles. But first, Issues at Hand is proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel in Tebe. In case you want to go for a relaxing evening, or it's Friday, you want to go for a relaxing weekend, please make your reservations and bookings at Protea Hotel in Tebe, and you will enjoy a luxurious or a relaxing time there. So please use the number on the screen right now. Now, thank you for joining us once again. My name is Bruno Edgard, and today I am joined by Afande Diana Nabukeera, and she's going to tell us which department of the police she's from, and we are going to get into the issue of discussing domestic violence, and then we shall go through the procedure when it comes to custody battles. You are very welcome to Issues at Hand today.
Thank you, Moderator Bruno. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the management of Family TV for inviting me and also the police fraternity to come and sensitize the masses over there, the men, the women, the children who are viewing us on Family TV. Stay tuned, and I'm most delighted to be here. Thank you.
All right, which department are you from?
Assistant Superintendent of Police, Nabukeera Diana. I'm a Child and Family Protection Officer attached to Police Headquarters, Naguru.
And what does the Child and Family Protection Unit do?
The Child and Family Protection Office, what we do, we protect the rights of children, women, and men through counseling, through investigations in case there is any abuse of the children which is being stipulated in any area of the country. We do listening in both parties who are facing issues of violence, issues of abuse, and so on. So we do a lot of things regarding the children, parents, and also the caregivers in a given setting.
In other words, you are the right person to talk to when it comes to our discussion today. And we're going to go through important topics. One, domestic violence that's on the rise in Uganda. And we have had some startling reports about how it is becoming an increasingly very dangerous issue in our society when it comes to domestic violence. So we're going to understand exactly what it is, what the forms are, what the causes and effects are when it comes to domestic violence. But there are parents who have battles when it comes to custody of their children in case parents separate, married wife and husband separate, and whether they, even when they have divorce, there can be custody battles. So we're also going to go through the procedure of how you can, as a parent in that battle, you can seek a redress from court. So Afande, first tell us about what domestic violence is.
Thank you very much. To all our viewers, domestic violence is any act or omission of a perpetrator when he or she harms, injures, or endangers the health, the safety, of the life of a victim, which can be through physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, or psychological abuse. And all that I've mentioned, those are the forms that we normally have. But we found out that some of our people, they do not know. If it's a physical abuse, some of them take it as something which is light. If it is sexual, they do not know the repercussions that may come in. So I wanted to highlight what are some of those examples of the physical violence, or if you're facing a physical abuse in your home. One of it is beating. If your spouse beats you, or you get an injury, maybe on the face, on any other part of the body, the arm, pierces you using a sharp object, or slaps you, burns you with maybe a candle or any other object which is maybe sharp, or what, a cutting. You find that most of the people who come at police stations, they come with swollen eyes. A man is being beaten at home, but at the end he says, it's a woman who has beaten me, why should I go and report? That is already a crime. If you injure anything on a body of a person, that is, you've already committed a crime, and that is a physical violence. Something which is seen on your body, that they've inflicted harm on your body, that's already physical violence. So when we go to economic violence, we found out that it's also another form of domestic violence. But some of the people out there look at it as something which is very slightly. So what are the examples of economic violence? If you're going through economic violence, there is denial of work, whereby you're staying with your partner, but he or she tells you you're not supposed to go and work. Your main duty, I married you to be at home. I married you to take care of the children. However much you have your papers or what, you're not supposed to go and what? And look for something on the table, which is already an abuse you're inflicting on this person. There is refusing to provide. Refusing to provide, where does it come from? If a man and a woman, you've got misunderstandings, maybe let me say denial of conjugal rights, like denial of sexual, in bed. You had maybe a misunderstanding in the night. So it reaches in the morning, you say, today I'm not leaving any coin on the table for you to maybe to be able to go and buy food for the children. So you'll use that anger, maybe that displacement, the misunderstanding which you had in the bedroom in the night before. You tell this woman or you tell this man, today I'm not leaving anything. I'm not leaving any single coin. So you refuse to provide. So that's why you see most parents or most women come to our offices and they report failure to provide, that the man has failed to give me the money, maybe for food or maybe for medication. The the child has gone sick. Why? When you sit down and look into deeper of it, you'll find out that these two had a problem or had a misunderstanding somewhere. So one party will refuse to put something on the table, and in the end, this person will end up running to our stations, running to LC, running to the neighbor, and so on. Then another thing is also controlling one's money. I might be employed, Bruno. I might be having an ATM. But when my salary comes in, it's you to control my ATM. You remove the ATM from me, go withdraw the money, and it's you to make an accountability on what we should have on the table. So you're leaving this person or this woman or this man behind to have control over his or her own money. It is you now taking control of the resources, of the financial resources, the debit card, the salary, everything. Even you got the workplace, and even some of the men, we found that, or women, that if salary comes in, make sure you put it on this account. This person who's working for this job is not having access over their own monies. So that one also tantamount to economic violence. So many women, so many men are going through this, but they do not realize it. So if you're going through all this, it also tantamounts to what? To economic violence. There is issue of stealing one's money. I put my money on the table, I might be sleeping, then out of a sudden, a woman or a man comes in, removes it maybe on the table where you had put it without your notice or your knowledge. Comes, picks it. You ask for the money, he or she will tell you, I don't know, but you start to in the home. So all that tantamounts to economic violence. Issues relating with finances, issues relating with resources, which the two of you would have set on the table and harmonized, but it ends up being a small issue, it will tantamount to be a big issue. Then we have emotional abuse or emotional violence. So many people are going through this, but in silence. It takes too long for one to realize that someone is going through an emotional abuse or emotional violence or psychological abuse. One of the best examples are name calling. You might be with a woman at home, but you never tell her name, or Mrs., maybe as you've called me, Mrs., maybe Miss Diana. One of the parties will call the other party, or no Nachi. In Luganda, they say, or no Smanya, Nachi, some funny names, you get? Instead of calling the person the real name. So if this person hears that name, it will typically endanger her brain, and it will automatically, that person will go into silence. You'll ask the person what is happening to this person. He or she will not tell you. But such people experience all those sorts, but they do not know that if I go to police, is there any charge? Yes, it's there. But some of them keep in silence. So name calling your partner certain funny names, tantamounts to a psychological abuse. Then insults, intimidations. So we found out that some of the people who have mainly misunderstandings or any other uncoordinated relationships, they end up calling people, end up intimidating them. Well, you one time, I'll kill you. One time, I'll do ABCD. You get. And some of these words are being done even in front of the children when they are hearing. So if children are also hearing what their father or what their mother are telling to each of them, it will also, they will pick it up into their brains. Even if they go to school, they will not typically settle. Even if the teacher is teaching in class, they will throw back what happened at home. That daddy and mommy, I heard this word, mommy is telling daddy that you one time I'll do ABCD. So this child who's in class will automatically either register a poor performance, or either will drop out of school, or either you'll find these children who are already on streets. Why? Because there is what is happening at home is not a conducive environment for this child to stay in. So that's why we are seeing also children are becoming victims of violence. So such threats, such intimidative things, which are almost instilled into a person's brain, tantamounts to a violence. And all these things are reported. If you sit down at home there and you do not know that all these things tantamount into a physical abuse or a violence, please just reach out to your nearest chairman, nearest LC, and have these issues settled. Then there is also a social abuse or social violence, whereby you, a partner, I can get married to you, Bruno. Let me give an example. You refuse me to associate with my friends. You phone me with my friends. Yes, some of them might be bad, but there are those other friends which can bring maybe developmental ideas. But you as a partner, who is my husband, you might refuse me to associate with them. You might tell me, once I've married you, this is the end of it. I must be with you. You're not supposed to deal with this person, deal with ABS, neither even your mother or your sister. I'm supposed to control you. So a person who turns away you from all your friends or your social network, it also tantamount to a social, we can call it a social violence and so on. So when you come to also sexual as a final, it has created a lot of separation. Actually, this is one of the causes as to why some families are breaking up. Why? Denial of conjugal rights.
Conjugal rights.
Okay. We are working, yes. We need our families to be safe. We need our kids to be in better schools. But have you found out time for your husband as a lady? Or you as a man, have you found out time for your woman? If it's time for bed, you find out most of the families you'll find when you listen to people, they tell you they separated bedrooms long time ago. Yet the issue of sex is a very crucial issue when building up a family or a home. If it's not there, then it will tantamount to a disagreement somewhere. You find that a woman is sleeping in a kid's bedroom. What is she looking for in a kid's bedroom? You're married to this person, why aren't you sleeping together? Or you're working late hours. Let me give an example of women who are working in supermarkets. They close late, even in banks or some other places, they close late. She'll come back at home. You want to have sex with her. She'll tell you, I'm tired. So the man will be wanting to have it. For you, you're saying, no, don't touch me. What will cause that? From the bedroom. The violence will begin from the bedroom. You start quarreling in the night. At around 1 in the night, people are sleeping. Bedroom, it goes to the sitting room. From the sitting room, it goes to the compound. From the compound, chairman. Chairman gets tired of it. That's when you run to police. But what is your role as a woman, as a man? You're married, you're not married, but you're staying together. What is the primary role of you becoming together? So most of the women, most of the men have also neglected that. In the end, both of you will fight, pull out the anger, and at the end of it, you have disagreements, find yourself at us. So with all those forms that I've mentioned with their examples, if one of them is going through them, it will tantamount to a domestic violence somewhere. You'll either fight, get an injury on your body, you'll either get pain psychologically, which you cannot tell. At the end of it, you'll need mental health practitioners to help you, or at the end of it, marriage will be broken and kids will be on the streets and so on. So those are the different forms and the definition of domestic violence.
Wow, thank you so much, and that's powerful, especially for us, because knowledge is power. It's important for us to know the different forms. Like I'm sure there are many of us who have been shocked by the fact that social violence is one of the forms, economic and psychological torture is one of the forms, and so it's important for us to understand that in our dealings with family members, it is important that we know that this act that you're about to do, you're planning to do, that amounts to domestic violence, and it has penalty, which we shall discuss later, that will come your way if you act out on that plan that you are having. But then when it comes to the causes, you mentioned some of them are frustration, some of them are lack of time between couples, and then denial of conjugal rights. Are there other causes that are leading to the rise of domestic violence in Uganda?
Thank you, Bruno. First and foremost, we see one of the causes, poverty. People are poor. People get married to men or get married to women because this person, I've seen this person is having the money. But when he or she gets into that home and realizes that this person doesn't have any single coin, is jobless, that's when you will leave the home, leaving behind the children. Why am I sticking on the children? Children are the next victims. If the one of the party is poor, doesn't have the money, is jobless, and this other party, what he or she was looking for in this person was the money, the vehicle, and so on. If all that is missing, it will tantamount to a violence. Then alcoholism, excessive drinking. You find that a woman is married, but he or she drinks, or she drinks a lot, she comes late in the night, the husband asks, where are you from? She doesn't even have words to explain. So all those uncoordinated statements, excessive drinking, whereby if you drink a lot, even a lot of money is being wasted. So you find that even alcoholism tantamounts to one of the causes of domestic violence. Then lack of respect for each other. I'm educated, Diana is educated, Bruno, you're educated. All of us are men in a home. No one can speak to the other. No one can counsel the other. No one can talk to the other. Everyone knows it at their own best. So you'll find that I bring this idea, I'll also bring my idea. So who's right and who's wrong? So lack of respect. You work in a maybe in certain public office. You say, you look at, even they call you some other names. That's what I was calling it, the emotional violence. Or that is ogusajja sajja. You know, in community, in public, even where people are. So lack of respect has also tantamounted to one of the causes. Then HIV/AIDS. You find that one of the parties, or a man is negative, the other one is positive. A discordant couple, whereby this will tantamount to a sexual violence, denial of conjugal rights, you get? So if I'm a discordant couple, how are we going to live? But you find that some women or some men do not believe that if I'm married to you, marriage can move on even if I have HIV/AIDS, because it's not the end of the world. People are there, people have produced children, but you find that if this person steps into your home and finds out that this person is ABCD, automatically he or she, they will decide to abandon their home, leave their children, and go on. So HIV/AIDS, we've also seen that it also brings some of the causes of domestic violence. Then we have political differences. I'm for this party, I'm for the other party. Yet the man wants you to support the party where you are, or a woman wants you to support where the party
differences
you are.
were that
During elections, we've been receiving such cases. So you find that you have to sit down with these two and have a table whereby you tell everyone that everyone has a right to, to vote each and every one person that he or she wants. It's not that you should put me on pressure that if I belong to this color, I need to follow yours. I have a right to my own choice and my own opinion on what I should choose and what I should not choose. So you find out if a man and a woman in a home, if it's elections or what, this one is belonging to a certain color, you find that there is a lot of confusion and there is a lot of misunderstandings in a home. So why so many causes are stipulated, but if we work on them, we can have a violence-free society.
And when you spoke about political differences, what came to mind was also religious differences, because could it also be a cause of domestic violence?
If I'm a Catholic and you're a Muslim, and you've married, when we want to get married, you'll want me to come to your religion, of which I'm from Christianity or from Islam. Now you'll tell me no. Even if the children you're going to produce them, maybe the boy children, I want them to be circumcised. I'll tell you, but I'm a Christian. I want my children to follow this path. So you'll want me to follow your religion. I'll also maybe want you to follow my religion. If it comes on Fridays, you'll tell me to go and pray, but I'll tell you I will not go. If it comes a Sunday, I'll tell you come to mine. You tell me I will not come. So in the end, you say, kids are mine. I'm a man. They are mine. They might follow my religion. But why not? Even women. We also have a right to also have these children. So you find out even religious affiliations is one of the differences, or is one of the leading causes as to why these families have a lot of misunderstandings, have a lot of violence, and curbing it down. It's the two of you, because it's you found yourselves too. It's you who knows how you sleep, how you take care of your children, and it's you who can finalize to it. But if it fails, we don't want to register murder cases. Seek help.
I guess that's one of the reasons why the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. But that's a discussion for another day. Now, when it comes to seeking help, in your experience with the many, I'm sure, incidences that you've dealt with in your line of work, why are there people victims of domestic violence who don't report? Why don't people report? And I've seen many scenarios, especially women who are being battered at home, who are being mistreated, and you ask them, why don't you report him? And they say, I love my husband. Why is it that some people do not come to report incidences of domestic violence?
Some people, why they don't want to come and report what we are seeing? One of the reasons is family pressure. The family puts you at stake. They tell you as a woman, maybe the mother to the husband of this woman tells you, plus also the brothers and sisters, you're taking our brother to police, we are going to do ABCD. They put in you that fear. They tell you he has been the breadwinner of the family. If you take him to police or anywhere, who's going to take care of their home? Why don't you leave it? So you find that most women withdraw. Then some of the other thing is culture. Some of them are still in those stereotypes, long ago culture, that if you take a man to police, this is ABCD, what is going to happen. So you find that these women, even if you're being beaten, and at times they take it that if you beat me, it's a sign of love. If a man doesn't beat you, he doesn't love you. So such acts which are from our traditional elders back in those cultures. So that's how some women are still believing. But I think we've created enough awareness that even if someone beats you, it's already a crime. Do you have the mandate to beat me or to cause any injury on my body? Did you find me, or when you're marrying me, did you find me with any impairment on my body? So some of them, culture, family pressures, friends advise them, do not do ABCD. So you find that some of them do not come. But we've seen an increase in the numbers of reporting of these cases. Why? We've made a lot of awareness. Be it on TV, be it on radio, be it in the community. Enough sensitization has been done. And also the toll-free lines that we've circulated around. If someone fears to report, at least there is that line where he or she can call, then we can always come to his or her rescue and help them.
Wonderful. They've had it. You have every avenue to ensure that you report domestic violence if indeed it is happening in your home and in a family that you are in. Especially if you know that it's happened to a relative or a close family member, please contact that toll-free number, and later on it shall be shared with the rest of us, so that in case of any incidents of domestic violence, you can contact that number. And then something interesting that you've been mentioning throughout, and I've noticed you've been doing it intentionally, is using the example of both men and women when it comes to victims of domestic violence. And I say this because in the society we are in, which is majorly patriotic, the thought in many is that it's mostly, and which is true by the way, that it's mostly women who are victims of domestic violence. But we have also noticed, and recently in news we have seen that there are men who are also victims of domestic violence. And one of the issues in terms of reporting, these men reporting that they are being victims of domestic violence, is that many of them, culture is another thing that you mentioned, and then there's also the issue of ego, and someone saying, how can I go and I see that a woman has beaten me? What is your call to men who are suffering domestic violence? What should they do? Who can they talk to?
It's true. The men in reporting, it's a little bit low compared to the women. And what I want to urge from men is that our office does not only look at women. That is, you should remove that negative thinking. This is an office which deals with both women, men, and children. So my calling to the men out there, do not shun away. I know most of you shun away. You'll say that, how can a woman beat me, as you've said? This is the nature of our work that we are doing. No one will allege you that why did you come and report to police that your woman has beaten you? No one. So I call upon all the men out there that please, these offices are open. Feel free to come and report. The same way a woman reports you, it's the same procedure that we are going to use to summon her to come to police. So there is no any magic that if you've come, we should change this nature of tactic, that we should summon this woman in such a style. No. The same way the woman reports, it's the same way you as a man, you would have entered into an office, and we also handle that woman who's violating you on which particular form of violence that we need to address. So I call upon all men out there, and I like if a man comes to our office and you report, this is ABCD, we shall take in interest and handle to the best on how we can do it best. So I call upon them, please come over, please report, please feel free. These offices have men equally. If you want to talk to a man is there. If you want to talk to a woman, they'll help you. So please feel free to come.
And what is your advice to the general public on how to fight this vice when it comes to our families and our friends, this vice of domestic violence?
What I want to urge you to the public is that domestic violence is a crime. Under the Domestic Violence Act of 2010, it is punishable by law, and once you commit it, please, you'll be accountable for it. So to avoid it, please, if you sense there is any danger of any misunderstanding, share it with a neighbor, share it with your area LC. We have the NABA Chala, the vice chairpersons. Please reach out to them. If they are not of help, please rush out. Not every case that you will run to police, but if you sense there could be any sign of murder, please come to police. Look for an Office of Child and Family. Please, there are offices, there are OC, CID, DPC, RPCs. If you reach out to police, we can always intervene. Do not keep in silence. Domestic violence is real, and if you delay, your life can be at stake, or you might lose a life. Reach out to our toll-free lines, the 0800-199-195 or the Sauti 116. We can always come to your rescue.
Wonderful. You've heard it there. Now, you spoke about how contentions or disagreements are one of the reasons why there's the rise in domestic violence, especially when it comes to husbands and wife. And because of these disagreements, you find that this husband and wife separate. Now, when this husband and wife separate and they have children, there's the issue of, or in many instances, where one of the spouses says, I am not giving you these children, you will never see these children again, these children are mine, and then you start seeing ongoing custody battles. And so the question is, for that spouse who finds himself or herself in that position where the other spouse has said, you are not allowed to see these children? What can they do? How can they ensure that they get custody of their children?
Okay, thank you very much, Bruno. As I earlier stipulated in my discussion, we've seen that so many causes, so many effects. Actually, I'll talk on the effects. If a violence has happened in a home for some good time, we register so many consequences, the outcomes. And one of them, you've tackled it, the issue of custody. You find that if parents have separated and they are no longer going to stay together, you find that one of the party will move out with the children, leaving the other party having no access to these children, even denying them to own them as their own children. So what I want to air to the public, issues of custody, so many people have come to police, especially to our unit, that we should determine who's to go with the children, at what time, at what period. Determination of access and custody of these children, it's not done by police. I want to air out to the public or to the parents out there, access and custody, it's typically done by the Family and Children's Court. Where you reside, it could be, let me give an example. I might be staying in Chibuli. So my nearest court where I should go to, it's Machindia Court, the family division. Please march out to the Family and Children's Court, air out your views. They will listen to them as you come to police and you sit, husband and the wife. Then court will grant you a court order. That court order will either be, according to the magistrate, will either grant custody to the mother or to both parents, or access, it will depend on how your case will be heard by the magistrate. Then you'll get that court order, bring it to police headquarters. When you bring it to police headquarters, that is Naguru, it will have to be first verified by the legal department. Get me clearly from the public. Have your court order from court, bring it to the legal department that is based in Naguru. After the legal department verifying, we found out that people get these court orders, bring direct to police, and at the end of it, our police officers get issues. They go implement it, you find that a court order is fake. Some of them get them from NASA or anywhere. You know why I'm talking about NASA? Because that's the most avenue that, when you want a document, you get it from there. So have this court order, bring it to police headquarters. They will have it verified by legal department. The legal department will write direct to our acting commissioner of child and family for it to be implemented. So the acting commissioner, child and family, will write to the divisional police commander, please do ABCD. So that's when you'll move in you'll go to the DPC, get the children as per the court order, then have the children in peace. If the magistrate has stipulated that during school days, the children will be there with their father, that's what you'll go with. If it's ABCD, so depending on the magistrate's ruling. So I'm clearing the air, access and custody, it's typically Family and Children's Court. Match there, they will give you a service. If it's determination of maintenance of children, the father has failed to provide, still as police, we do not insist on both of you. We clearly direct you to the Family and Children's Court. If it's issues of fighting for property, that I'm married to this man or I'm married to this woman, I need to have share of this, I've stayed with this man for such and such a long period of time, please legalize your marriages. And we have 4 forms of marriages. We have the traditional marriage, we have the church marriage, we have the civil marriage, we have the Islamic marriage, the Hindu. So if you're not falling in one of those categories, please, you're not authorized to march to court. But if you pass through all those channels, please march also to court, but don't come to police and tell the police officers, I have this property, please share with it. I want you to take, the woman takes this share, I take it. No, we do not do that. go to Family and Children's Court.
Go to the Family and Children's Court. Now, we shall continue to discuss that and more when it comes to domestic violence, and also when it comes to the process of ensuring that you get custody and access to your children.